Hello students, today we are going to learn about Competition Act 2002. But before starting with this, I would like to throw some lights on the reason for the introduction of this act. You must have heard about MRTP Act 1969. MRTP is Monopolistic and Restrictive Trade Practices Act. Now this act basically was enacted with some objectives, and that they are to prevent the concentration of economic power, to prohibit monopolistic and restrictive trade practices, and the most importantly unfair trade practices, right? Now, this act came into force with effect from 1st June 1970, and this law was amended or modified several times. But the amendment that took place in the year 1991 was made by the government of India by introducing LPG model. LPG is liberalization, globalization and privatization. Okay. The world economies, after the introduction of this model, the world economies were commonly pursuing the LPG model as their significant goal, and India too responded well in this regard by opening up its economy and removing controls and resorting to liberalization. Basically, in with this introduction of this LPG model, everybody was free to trade anywhere across the national boundaries also. So as a result, this has led to the changed and more competitive environment. So, in this context, this MRTP Act became obsolete in certain aspects, and which has led to recognize a need to shift the focus from curing monopolies to promoting competition. Now, in the year 1999, Government of India appointed a high-level committee on competition policy and law under the chairmanship of Shri S.V.S. Raghavan. Okay, and this committee submitted its report in the year 2000. But on the other side, the central government also consulted the trade and industry and also the general public to know their view about introduction of the new act, that is competition law, or to exist with the MRTP Act. So, accordingly, having considered the suggestions given by trade, industry, and general public, the central government decided to enact a law on competition, and accordingly the competition bill was introduced in the parliament. Okay, now this act extends to whole of India, and this act came into force with effect from 31st March 2003. Then after this act was introduced, that means this act, the competition act, has repealed the MRTP Act 1969. So this was mentioned in section 66 of the Competition Act 2002, which says the Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act 1969 is hereby repealed. Repealed means replaced, and the MRTP Practices Commission shall stand dissolved. Next thing we come to is the objectives of the Competition Act 2002. The first main objective of this act is to protect the interest of consumers by providing them good products and services at reasonable prices. Then to promote healthy competition in the Indian market. Now, healthy competition is basically focusing on the ways to getting things better. Okay, not to create unhealthy competition in the market. Then third is to prevent the interest of the smaller companies or prevent the abuse of dominant position in the market. Dominant means, or dominant position means, position of strength enjoyed by any enterprises. Okay, so we have to, this act makes sure that such practices are prevented. Then the fourth objective is to prevent, so the fourth objective is to prevent those practices which have adverse impact on competition in the Indian market. Adverse मतलब negative impact हो सकता है. ऐसा मतलब कि आप कह सकते हैं कि कंपटीशन अनहेल्दी बनाने वाली बातें, ऐसे अग्रीमेंट्स जहाँ पे कंपटीशन नहीं रह जाता, सिर्फ एक अग्रीमेंट रह जाता है और विच इज़ कंसिडर्ड इलीगल, एक्चुअली वॉइड कहलाया जाता है लॉ की आइज़ में. जैसे फॉर एग्ज़ाम्पल मैं आपके साथ एक अग्रीमेंट कर रही हूँ और मैं आपको बोल रही हूँ कि आप सिर्फ मुझसे ही सामान खरीदेंगे या गुड्स या सर्विसेज लेंगे और किसी से नहीं लेंगे. तो सच टाइप ऑफ अग्रीमेंट इज़ or will have adverse impact on competition. Okay, then next objective is to ensure freedom of trade in Indian markets. Freedom of trade मतलब simply ये एक ऐसा act है that protects the individuals and entities so that they can have full freedom to work in the market. And the last and the sixth objective is to regulate the operation and activities of combinations, that is acquisitions, mergers and amalgamation. Now from the word combination itself we can make it out. Combination means when two or more businesses combine together and work. Okay, so combinations के बहुत सारे 3 aspects basically यहाँ बताएं: acquisitions, mergers and amalgamations. Acquisition is simply when one business is having control on the other business or the company. Like for example, मैंने अगर आपकी कंपनी के मैक्सिमम शेयर्स खरीद लिए हैं, एंड व्हाट वाज माय ऑब्जेक्टिव? टू गेन द कंट्रोल ऑफ दैट कंपनी. I will be the maximum shareholder, so I will be having a control on that company, right? So this is acquisition. Then merger is a combination of two companies or businesses. For example, merging of two supermarkets. Okay, and amalgamation means where multiple owners they come together, combine their properties to form a single lot. Okay, so these are the main 6 objectives, okay, that the competition act tends to protect. The next thing we come to is the main aspects of the act. Okay, we have to look into these 5 important aspects, and without them this act is incomplete. So basically, as we have learned about the various objectives of the act, so the main aspects that cover this act are: first, prohibition of anti-competitive agreements. I told you कि prohibition of anti-competitive means, prohibition means restricting, okay, of anti-competitive agreements. Anti-competitive मतलब ऐसे agreements जो competition को unhealthy बनाते हैं, कम कर देते हैं. Okay, so according to section 3 of the Competition Act 2002, no enterprise or association of enterprises or persons or association of persons shall enter into any agreement in respect of production, supply, distribution, storage, acquisition, or control of goods or provision of services which causes or likely to cause appreciable adverse effect on competition within India. It simply means कोई भी एंटरप्राइज या ग्रुप ऑफ एंटरप्राइज, कोई भी पर्सन या ग्रुप ऑफ पर्सन, दे आर प्रोहिबिटेड टू एंटर इनटू एनी सच अग्रीमेंट्स जिससे कि कंपटीशन इंडियन मार्केट में कम हो जाए. ओके, क्योंकि अगर कोई 2 पार्टीज अगर ऐसे अग्रीमेंट में एंटर होते हैं, देन दैट अग्रीमेंट स्टैंड्स void. Void matlab ab initio, from the very beginning unenforceable by law. So here now we are going to study about the agreements that shall be presumed, मतलब हम ऐसा मान लेंगे कि such agreements are anti competitive agreements, means ऐसे agreements जो competition को कम करते हैं. So in this regard, the first anti competitive agreement can be any agreement which directly or indirectly determines purchase or sale prices. Second, Any agreement which limits or controls production, supply, markets, technical developments, investments और provision of services means आप किसी को रोक नहीं सकते, आप कुछ परचेज या सेल्स को प्राइसेस को इफ़ेक्ट नहीं कर सकते, आप किसी को प्रोडक्शन नहीं कंट्रोल कर सकते, आप जिसको जैसे काम करना है वो वैसा काम करे। हमें ऐसे कोई अग्रीमेंट्स नहीं करने हैं कि लाइक यू डू प्रोडक्शन पार्ट, I will stop my work, then when I will start then you stop। इस टाइप की कोई अग्रीमेंट्स हम नहीं करेंगे देन, क्योंकि अगर हम करते हैं तो वो एंटी कॉम्पिटिटिव अग्रीमेंट्स होते हैं। देन नेक्स्ट इज एनी अग्रीमेंट विच शेयर्स द मार्केट और सोर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन or provision of services by way of allocation of geographical area of market means, or any type of goods or services or number of customers in the market or any other way which directly or indirectly results in bid rigging। बेसिकली व्हाट इज़ द कॉन्सेप्ट हियर इज़ कि हम कोई दो पार्टीज़ ऐसे अग्रीमेंट में ना आए जिसमें दे विल बाइफिकेट द जोग्राफिकल एरिया ऑफ मार्केट, लाइक आई एम गोइंग टू सर्व द गोरखपुर मार्केट एंड यू आर गोइंग टू सर्व द सदर मार्केट, ओके, और आई एम गोइंग टू सेल दिस काइंड ऑफ गुड, यू विल नॉट सेल दिस टाइप ऑफ गुड और यू विल नॉट गिव एनी सच सर्विसेज दैट आई एम गिविंग, ओके। ये मेरे कस्टमर्स हैं, वो आपके कस्टमर्स हैं, आप मेरे कस्टमर्स को सर्व नहीं करेंगे, मैं आपके कस्टमर को सर्व नहीं करूँगी। तो इस टाइप के अग्रीमेंट्स हमें नहीं करने, बिकॉज सच अग्रीमेंट्स आर वॉइड एंड दिस होल थिंग इज कॉल्ड बिड रिगिंग, ओके। देन the next agreement which is anti-competitive is tie-in agreement। you know what is a tie? Again I told you before कि ये सारे void agreements हैं, okay। so here what it says is it includes any agreement requiring a purchaser of goods as a condition of such purchase to purchase some other goods also। इस लाइन का सिर्फ इतना मीनिंग है कि such agreements are basically illegal where a seller sells a product or service only on the condition that the buyer will also purchase another and different product and will not purchase from elsewhere। means अगर मैं आपकी शॉप से रेफ्रिजरेटर ख़रीदने आई हूँ तो मुझे साथ में एक और प्रोडक्ट भी ख़रीदना पड़ेगा आपसे, ओके। और मैं ये ऐसा अग्रीमेंट कर रही हूँ कि मैं कहीं और से कभी ये इलेक्ट्रॉनिकल प्रोडक्ट्स जो हैं वो परचेज़ नहीं करूँगी, सिर्फ आप ही से करूँगी। सो सच अग्रीमेंट इज़ टाई इन अग्रीमेंट। Then the next type of anti-competitive agreement is exclusively supply agreements। Now here it is an agreement restricting in any manner the purchaser in the course of his trade from acquiring or otherwise dealing in any other goods other than those of the seller or any other person। इसका सिर्फ इतना मतलब है, ओके, कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर, आप अग्रीमेंट कर रहे हैं कि आप किसी और के साथ सप्लाई एक्सक्लूसिव सप्लाई अग्रीमेंट सिंपली यही कहना चाह रहा है आपको कि एक ही सप्लायर है और एक ही उससे परचेज़र है, यानी कि हम किसी और से अपना सामान नहीं खरीदेंगे, सिर्फ उसी पर्सन से खरीदेंगे। यानी कि इफ़ आई एम अ बायर, तो अगर आप सप्लायर हैं तो मैं सिर्फ आप ही से खरीदूँगी और किसी से नहीं खरीदूँगी। यू विल बी द ओनली एंड द सोल सप्लायर ऑफ माई बिजनेस products। Then next is exclusive distribution agreement। Exclusive distribution agreement, here it is like it includes any agreement to limit, restrict or withhold the output or supply of any goods or allocate any area or market for the disposal or sale of goods। यानी कि again there is a distribution agreement between the supplier and the परचेज़र एंड मतलब एक अग्रीमेंट है जहाँ पे डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स हैं वो सामने वाले के साथ अग्रीमेंट कर लें कि इस एरिया में हमारा डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ही होगा, आपका नहीं होगा, इस तरीके से। देन नेक्स्ट इज़ रिफ्यूज़ल टू डील। So basically it includes any agreement which restricts or is likely to restrict by any method the person or classes of persons to whom goods are sold or from whom the goods are bought। So here what they are अब इसका सिर्फ इतना मतलब है कि दिस इज़ अनदर एग्रीमेंट दैट प्रिवेंट्स और रिड्यूसेस कंपटीशन. सो बेसिकली एक ऐसा एग्रीमेंट है बिटवीन द कंपनीज और बिजनेसेस दैट दे विल नॉट डू बिजनेस विथ अनदर कंपनी और एनी पर्सन. Okay, and the last anti-competitive agreement is resale price maintenance. It says it includes any agreements where the retailer will not sell the supplier's product to an end user or buyer for less than a certain amount. Simply, it is an, for example, I can say it is an agreement between a manufacturer and a wholesaler or the retailer not to sell a product below a specified price. Now, the next thing is prohibition of abuse of dominant position. This is another important aspect of Competition Act 2002. Prohibition means again putting bars of abuse of dominant position. Abuse means, dominant position का simple meaning होता है a position of strength enjoyed by an enterprise in the particular market in India. Okay, so here what it says is section 4 says that no enterprise or group shall abuse its dominant position in the following cases. ऐसे कौन से केसेस हैं, लाइक इफ़ आई एम एन्जॉइंग अ पोजिशन ऑफ स्ट्रेंथ तो आई शुड नॉट अब्यूज, आई शुड नॉट मेक undue advantage of my position, right? So here the first condition is if an enterprise or a group directly or indirectly imposes unfair conditions in the purchase or sale of goods and services or price in the purchase or sale of goods and services. Like for example, again I am indulged, I can do anything, like I can practice any unfair things in the market. So this competition act prohibits the abuse of dominant position. Suppose if I am charging you unfair prices, if I am indulged into unfair trade practices, or if I am actually I am putting limits on the production supply, or I am denying the other businesses to practice or to make market access in any manner, or if I am telling you ki this is my area, I am going to supply my goods in this thing or in this area, and that is your area, these are my customers, that are your customers. If I am indulging into all these practices, that means I am abusing my dominant position. So if any person, any enterprise, any company, if it abuses its position dominantly, then this competition act is going to definitely take action. Okay, so the third thing is regulation of combinations. I told you before, combination is simply means to combine. Okay, combination can be in the form of acquisitions, mergers, or amalgamation. Okay, so here the section 5 of Competition Act deals with combination of enterprises and persons. Okay, the acquisition of one or more enterprises by one or more persons, or mergers or amalgamation of enterprises shall be a combination of such enterprises and persons or enterprises if. Now it simply means in this competition act, इसमें under this regulation of combinations, like if you are going to if you are planning to combine your businesses or your enterprises, or if you are planning to merge your businesses or companies, or you want to amalgamate, so what are the criteria, what is the basic eligibility to combine? So this is what you're going to study in this portion. So there are three situations under regulation of combination, right? So the first condition is any acquisition. I told you acquisition is simply means having control of other business, right? So any acquisition where the parties to the acquisition jointly have, like for example, you are one party, I am another party, right? I want to acquire your business, that means I want to have a control on your business. So if I want to acquire your business and you're ready for such agreement, then in India, Okay, in India, if we have properties or businesses in India, then India, after we should, after acquisition, we should jointly have the assets of more than rupees 1000 crores or turnover of more than rupees 3000 crores in India. Understanding? And if we have assets in India and outside India as well, then in aggregate इंडिया और आउटसाइड इंडिया का जो हमारे बिजनेसेस का जो एग्रीगेट होगा एसेट्स एंड टर्नओवर का, वो कितना होना चाहिए? सो एसेट्स शुड बी मोर देन 500 मिलियन यूएस डॉलर्स इंक्लूडिंग रुपीज़ 500 करोड़ इन इंडिया, यानी 500 करोड़ तो इंडिया में होने ही चाहिए। अलॉन्ग विद दैट कितना होना चाहिए? 500 मिलियन यूएस डॉलर्स। ओके, एंड या फिर टर्नओवर कितना होना चाहिए? मोर दैन 1500 मिलियन यूएस डॉलर्स इंक्लूडिंग एटलीस्ट 1500 crores in India. So this is a criteria if one party wants to acquire another party's business, and आफ्टर एक्विजिशन इनके पास कितने एसेट्स या टर्नओवर होने चाहिए। दोनों में से कोई भी एस्पेक्ट अगर मेट हो गया तो दे कैन एक्वायर। सो एसेट्स या तो इतने होने चाहिए या टर्नओवर इतना होना चाहिए। ठीक है, दिस इज अबाउट parties. Now next, under this point only, under acquisition only, the second thing is the acquisition where the group to the acquisition jointly have। यहाँ पे ग्रुप की बात हो रही है। एक कुछ ग्रुप्स हैं जो दूसरे ग्रुप को एक्वायर करना चाह रहे हैं, तो वो ग्रुप्स का कितने एसेट्स या फिर कितना टर्नओवर हो सकता है। तो अगर कोई एक ग्रुप किसी दूसरे ग्रुप को अक्वायर करना चाह रहा है तो उसके एसेट्स इंडिया में 4000 करोड़ होने चाहिए एंड टर्नओवर शुड बी मोर दैन रुपीज़ 12000 करोड़। एंड अगर उनके एसेट्स आउटसाइड इंडिया भी हैं दोनों के, देन एसेट शुड बी मोर दैन 500 मिलियन यूएस डॉलर्स इंक्लूडिंग एटलीस्ट 500 करोड़ इन इंडिया, or turnover of more than 1500 million US dollars including at least 1500 crores in India. So this is about acquisition। इसके अंदर दो पॉइंट्स हैं, एक पार्टीज़ का है फर्स्ट वाला और सेकंड वाला है ग्रुप का। तो पार्टीज़ में आपको मैंने बताया इंडिया में उनके एसेट्स या टर्नओवर कितना होना चाहिए, और अगर उनकी एसेट्स बाहर भी हैं या उनकी प्रॉपर्टी बाहर भी है, सब कुछ वो अक्वायर करना चाह रहे हैं, तो उनके जॉइंटली दे शुड हैव दिस मच ऑफ एसेट्स एंड टर्नओवर। सेकेंडली, अगर कोई एक ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज दूसरे ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज को अक्वायर करना चाह रहे हैं तो फिर उनके एसेट्स क्या होंगे। सो दिस इज़ अबाउट फर्स्ट टाइप ऑफ रेगुलेशन ऑफ कॉम्बिनेशंस। The second thing is, the second point under regulation of combination is B, that is acquiring of control by a person over an enterprise when such person has already direct or indirect control over another enterprise engaged in production, distribution, or trading of a similar or identical or substitutable service। इसका सिर्फ इतना मतलब है, acquiring of control by a person means, for example, I am that person, okay, where, and यहाँ पे next thing that is given is over an enterprise which when such person has already direct। Now I already have a direct or indirect control on any enterprise and I want to control your business, your enterprise too। Means मैं like I am a person that is engaged in production, distribution of goods or services, right, which are identical। तो अब मैं क्या कर रही हूँ, मैंने ऑलरेडी किसी और एंटरप्राइज को भी मैं कंट्रोल कर रही हूँ, बिकॉज हम लोग सेम गुड्स, सब्स्टिट्यूटेबल गुड्स या फिर आइडेंटिकल गुड्स से हम डील कर रहे हैं। तो अब थर्ड पार्टी इज़ यू, आई वॉन्ट टू एक्वायर कंट्रोल ऑफ योर बिजनेस ऑल्सो। तो इसके लिए दो कंडीशंस क्या हैं? अगेन द फर्स्ट कंडीशन इज द एंटरप्राइज ओवर विच control has been acquired along with the enterprise over which the acquirer already has direct or indirect control jointly have। Now see what here this line says is, मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया है, मैं हूँ और मैं एक ऐसे गुड्स से डील कर रही हूँ। आई एम डीलिंग विद प्रोडक्शन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन और ऑफ गुड्स दैट आर सिमिलर और आइडेंटिकल और सब्सटीट्यूटेबल। ओके, सो मैं ऑलरेडी एक एंटरप्राइज से को कंट्रोल कर रही थी, मैं आपके एंटरप्राइज को भी कंट्रोल करना चाह रही हूँ। तो यहाँ पे मैं आपको क्या बता रही हूँ, अब यहाँ पे अगर मुझे ये एक्विजिशन चाहिए, ये एक्विजिशन मुझे कॉम्पिटिशन एक्ट कब अलाउ करेगा, जब जिस एंटरप्राइज को मैं ऑलरेडी कंट्रोल कर रही हूँ एक वो, और आपके एंटरप्राइज को मैं कंट्रोल करना चाह रही हूँ, तो आप दोनों की एंटरप्राइजेस के इंडिया में एसेट्स कितने होने चाहिए, अगेन रुपीज़ मोर दैन 1000 करोड़, एंड या फिर टर्नओवर कितना होना चाहिए, मोर दैन रुपीज़ 3000 करोड़। अंडरस्टैंडिंग, मेरा नहीं, एक जो एंटरप्राइज जिसको मैं ऑलरेडी कंट्रोल कर रही हूँ और दूसरा मैं आपको आपको आपके ऊपर एक्वायर करना, आपके एंटरप्राइज को एक्वायर करना चाह रही हूँ। सो दिस इज़ अबाउट दिस। एंड अगर आप दोनों के एसेट्स आउटसाइड इंडिया भी हैं तो फिर अगेन एसेट्स आप पे कितने होने चाहिए, 500 मिलियन यूएस डॉलर्स इंक्लूडिंग एटलीस्ट रुपीज़ 500 करोड़ इन इंडिया, और टर्नओवर more than 1500 million US dollars including at least 1500 crores in India। ये जो amount है in India and out in India, this will be same for all the three types of combinations that any person can go for। okay, अब इसी में दूसरी कंडीशन क्या है, वहाँ पे तो सिर्फ एक फर्स्ट केस में सिर्फ पर्सन की बात हो रही थी, यानी कि मेरी जो मैं ऑलरेडी किसी एक एंटरप्राइज को कंट्रोल कर रही थी और दूसरे एंटरप्राइज को कंट्रोल करना चाह रही थी, एक्वायर करना चाह रही थी। अब सेकेंड पॉइंट इसमें ग्रुप की आती है, वेयर द ग्रुप टू विच एंटरप्राइज हुज कंट्रोल हैज़ बीन एक्वायर्ड। अब एक ऐसे ग्रुप को मैं एक ग्रुप को ऑलरेडी कंट्रोल एक्वायर कर चुकी हूँ उन पे, अब मैं एक और ग्रुप, यानी कि अगर आपका कोई ग्रुप है, यू आर द ग्रुप ऑफ एंटरप्राइजेस, तो मैं आपको भी एक्वायर करना चाह रही हूँ। क्यों? क्योंकि हमारे जो हम गुड्स या सर्विसेज से डील कर रहे हैं वो सेम, वो आइडेंटिकल हैं एंड सब्स्टिट्यूटेबल भी, यानी कि हम एक ही चीज़ से डील कर रहे हैं। ओके, तो इसमें अगर मुझे एक्विजिशन चाहिए, अगर आपके एंटरप्राइजेस को एक्वायर करने के लिए, तो आपके और जिस एंटरप्राइज को मैं ऑलरेडी एक्वायर कर चुकी हूँ उनके एसेट्स कितने होने चाहिए। तो अगेन assets should be more than, in India the assets should be more than rupees 4000 crores और turnover of more than rupees 12,000 crores। ठीक है, और इंडिया और आउटसाइड इंडिया में एग्रीगेट मिला के कितना होना चाहिए, assets more than 500 million US dollars including at least rupees 500 crores in India, or turnover more than 1500 million US dollars including at least rupees 1500 crores in India। The next thing is, the third type of combination is any merger or amalgamation। I told you the difference between merger and amalgamation already। So अगर कोई ग्रुप ऑफ एंटरप्राइज या एंटरप्राइज अगर किसी दूसरे एंटरप्राइज के साथ मर्ज होना चाहता है या अमेलगमेट करना चाहता है, तो उसके लिए क्या सिचुएशन है या फिर उसके लिए क्या क्राइटेरिया है। सो अगेन द अमाउंट इज़ गोइंग टू बी द सेम इन ऑल द थ्री टाइप्स ऑफ कॉम्बिनेशंस, ओनली द थिंग इज़ देयर कि फर्स्ट वाला जो है, द फर्स्ट कंडीशन अंडर दिस विल बी द एंटरप्राइज रिमेनिंग आफ्टर मर्जर और अमेलगमेशन में जॉइंटली हैव। अगर मैं आपके साथ मर्ज होना चाह रही हूँ, मैं अपने आपका साथ अपना बिजनेस मर्ज करना चाह रही हूँ या अमेलगमेट करना चाह रही हूँ, तो आफ्टर दिस थिंग इंडिया में हमारे कितने एसेट्स होंगे, और अगर हमारे इंडिया और आउटसाइड इंडिया भी अगर एसेट्स हैं तो एग्रीगेट में कितने होंगे, तो वो एवरीथिंग इज मेंशन्ड एंड दे आर सेम as we discussed before। and the second is group। अगर कोई group of enterprises अगर merge होना चाह रहे हैं या फिर amalgamate करना चाह रहे हैं, तो in that case this is the amount that they are going to have after merger or amalgamation। so this is about regulation of combination। okay, then the fourth important aspect of competition act 2002 is competition commission of India। okay, now this is very much important। we will just I'll just brief out you the main features of this competition commission। I mean what is the purpose of this commission and why this is established। so basically section 7 of this competition act says that the central government established competition commission of India on 14th October 2003 for the purpose of Competition Act 2002. Okay, then the features of this commission is it shall be a body corporate. ये कंपनी की तरह है which has perpetual succession. Perpetual succession means never ending. Members may come and go, but this commission will remain forever. Then it shall have its common seal also. Then it after registration, this commission has a power to acquire, hold and dispose of property, both movable and immovable. And it has eligible this commission is eligible to contract with any party, and being type of a company, it can sue other person or company, or can also be sued. Okay, and the head office of this commission shall be at such place as the central government may decide from time to time. There's nothing fixed here. Whatever central government feels like, it can have its head office there. And this commission may establish offices at other places in India wherever it may find fit. Then section 8 of this commission says that Competition Commission of India shall consist of a chairperson. So there is a chairperson, okay, and not less than 2 and not more than 10 members to be appointed by the central government. The chairperson of this CCI is also appointed by central government, and the members should not be less than 2 and not more than 10. The chairperson and every other member shall be a person of ability, integrity and standing to is basically means he should be a knowledgeable person, has knowledge in every field like economics, trade, international affairs, administration, public affairs, industry, management and all, and who are qualified, who has been qualified to be a judge of high court, or has special knowledge of and professional experience of not less than 15 years in the international trade, economics, business, commerce, law, finance, accountancy, management, industry, public affairs, administration, or and any other which may be useful to the CCI in the opinion of the central government. So this is just a brief overview of the Competition Commission of India. Now, the another important aspect of Competition Commission is duties. What are the duties of this commission? So the first duty is to eliminate practices having adverse effect on competition. We have already studied about anti-competition, dominant position, regulation of combination. So this is just the so it is the Competition Commission who is going to make sure that it eliminates such practices, okay, to promote and sustain competition. So another duty of this commission is to promote and sustain competition, and competition should be healthy. Okay, then next is to protect the interest of consumers, like they should not be discriminated, they should not be exploited. This commission just take care ki this unfair trade practices does not apply in the market and all. And lastly, to ensure freedom of trade carried on by other participants in market in India. We've discussed about freedom of trade means any person is free to work any kind of which should be legal enough to access in the market. Then the next thing is power and functions of commission. Now this is the very important aspect. So there are basically 3 powers and functions of commission. Okay, the Competition Commission, that is, first is inquire into anti-competitive agreements. We've discussed about anti-competitive agreements, right? So here, if any person, association of person, any enterprise, group of enterprise, central government, state government, if any of these, if they complain to the commission about the anti-competitive agreements in practice, then the Competition Commission of India has the power to inquire into anti-competitive agreements. It can inquire about the complaint that it has got, and it has a power to issue any directions to such business or person. Then the second important power which competition commission possess is inquire into abuse of dominant position. Again, we have discussed about abuse of dominant position as like if a person is enjoying his position, and making just undue advantage of its dominant position, then, and if anybody complains, now anybody means any person, group of person, any association, group of association, government, that is central or state, if they complain about any enterprise that it is abusing its dominant position in the market or practicing unfair trade practice in the market, then competition commission has a power to inquire into that business and can issue any directions to such business or person. And the third power that competition commission possesses is inquire into combinations. Like as we've discussed about three types of combinations like acquisition, mergers and amalgamation. So if any person, like mainly the main purpose of competition act is to promote the हेल्दी कंपटीशन एंड सस्टेन दैट, राइट. तो अगर कोई इंसान इस पर्पस से कंबाइन होना चाह रहा है कि इससे कंपटीशन कम हो जाएगा और हम बहुत अच्छा एक स्टेबल बिजनेस रन कर सकते हैं, तो इन सच अ केस if any person, again group of person, any association, group of association or central government, if they find such practices where people are trying to combine their business to make the competition anti one, then in such a case the commission has the power to inquire into it and issue directions as it may thinks fit, right. Then the next thing that we are going to study here is about director general. Now this commission appoints director general, who basically is an investigating officer relating and in doing investigation relating to the anti-competitive activities in the country. Now the commission, as we've discussed, it comprises of chairperson and other members appointed by the central government, but it has DG also, that is director general, who is going to investigate if now all the complaints are it is basically filed in the commission only, and then this commission directs the director general to do the investigation, and accordingly it gives judgment on the basis of reports submitted by the director general. Then the next thing is competition appellate tribunal. Now tribunal is a small body court that is going to deal with this competition tribunal is basically such a body court where problems or appeals related to these anti-competitive agreements or abuse of dominant positions or combinations are filed. So basically, if for example somebody has done the director general has done investigation against me, and the competition commission declared me as guilty for engaging into any anti-competitive agreement, and if I am not happy with the judgment of this competition commission, then I can appeal to the higher authority. And which is that higher authority? Competition appellate tribunal, compact. Okay, so here I am going to appeal. Okay, and that means this appellate tribunal is an appellate where the jurisdiction, that means judgment, is given against the decisions of the competition commission of India. if suppose मेरे against अगर कोई decision competition commission लेता है, तो I have an option to apply or to appeal to the another authority, that is appellate ट्राइब्यूनल, दैट इज़ द कॉम्पिटिशन एपलेट ट्राइब्यूनल. तो मैं वहाँ पे अपील कर सकती हूँ और वहाँ पे वो जजमेंट देते हैं आफ्टर डूइंग इन्वेस्टिगेशन. देन अगेन if I am not satisfied with the judgment given by the competition appellate tribunal, तो I have one more and the last source, that is Supreme Court. Okay, तो अगर मुझे अब कहाँ पे मैं अप्लाई कर सकती हूँ, the last authority is Supreme Court, so I am going to apply to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court is going to give its judgment. That is, Supreme Court is going to do the jurisdiction against the decisions of the appellate tribunal, and whatever decision Supreme Court declares or the final verdict of the Supreme Court will be bound to all the members. Okay, so whatever decision they will make, I have to accept. Okay, so these are the powers and functions of commission. Then the last thing is I would like to conclude is Competition Act 2002 is a landmark legislation. Legislation is law. The main aim of this act is to promote competition and curb all anti-competitive agreements. Curb means lessening it or removing it. This act restricts the abuses of dominant enterprises. It can also regulate any kind of combinations beyond a particular size. This act does not curb monopolies, rather, it curbs abuses of monopolies. Thus, the Competition Act is expected to play a responsible role in changing the control mechanism related to monopoly and restrictive trade practices, and is also expected to protect the interests to the small and the medium industries in the country, besides giving consumers more powers to redress their grievances. Thank you.